Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and I'm going to discuss about superconductors, and this is my third lecture on superconductors. And in this lecture I'm going to discuss about Josephson junctions, high TC superconductors and applications of superconductors. Before going to Josephson junctions, I would like to discuss a general theory called, look, I'm taking a normal material like this and I'm going to place a insulating material over here, and this is another some conducting material. This is also some conducting material. Actually, if we place like this, water insulators, they will not allow anything to pass through them like heat or electrons or any energy. They will not allow anything to pass through them. If I place an insulating material like this in between two conductors, will there be any electron transfer from here to here? Absolutely no. But there will be a little chance of tunneling. Tunneling means a little escape through this insulating material. That is called as tunneling. This is what happens for a normal conductors. Then what about superconductors? And it is explained by Josephson junctions. And like I'm considering a superconducting material like this and another superconducting material some like this, and it is a very thin layer of insulator. And what is the difference between normal material and normal conducting material and superconducting material? We already told in normal conducting materials there will be a phenomena of tunneling, and this tunneling also happens only up to how much? Until there is some potential difference. That means if potential difference becomes zero, there will be no more tunneling. That means no charges move from here to here. This is what happens in the normal conductors. Then what about superconductors? In superconductors, though the potential difference is zero, there will be tunneling. That means though the potential difference is zero, the electrons from this material will pass through this insulating material and move to the another superconducting material. This is called as Josephson. These junctions are called as Josephson junctions. That means the junction between any two superconductors. And what are the use of these Josephson junctions? They are actually used in radiometers. What are radiometers? These are the instruments used to measure earthquakes. Earthquakes means they will identify the gravitational waves. Actually, gravitational waves have the magnetic field of they will have very low order of 10 power minus 10 or 10 power minus 17 Tesla. These are not identified by normal magnetometers. These are observed by the radiometer, and this radiometer is made up of this Josephson junctions. And many low order magnetic fields can also be identified by this materials made of this Josephson junctions. And like in heart, there will be 10 power minus 10 Tesla, and it can be identified by um, by these Josephson junctions only, and it cannot be they are of very less order and cannot be measured by normal instruments. And like even brain also have a magnetic field of 10 power minus 13 Tesla, and these can also be observed by these junctions. By this Josephson phenomena, we can also know the malfunctions that are in our body, like for heart, brain, and muscles. Muscles have a magnetic field of 10 power minus 12 Tesla, and we can easily know whether a person is healthy or not by with the help of these Josephson phenomena. And this Josephson junctions can be divided into two types, like AC Josephson effect and DC Josephson effect. First, I will discuss about DC Josephson effect. We already discussed that without any potential difference also, there will be the conduction from one superconductor to another superconductor via an insulator. That is called as nothing but DC Josephson effect. Without the application of any current, there is nothing we are applying in this case. Without application of any current, we are getting some DC current when we place two semiconductors separated by an insulator. And here we are getting some DC current. And this is nothing but DC Josephson effect. And the current in this case is nothing but I is equal to I naught sine delta, where this delta is nothing but phase difference. Phase difference between the wave vectors of this superconductor and this superconductor. This is nothing but DC Josephson effect. And what is AC Josephson effect? AC Josephson effect is nothing but, here we are not applying any current and we are getting the DC current as an output. And now in AC Josephson effect, if we apply some DC current to this superconductors, then we are getting some AC current. If we apply some DC current to this superconductors, we are getting AC current, and this is nothing but AC Josephson effect. And the current in this case is nothing but I is equal to I naught sine delta plus 2 EV by H cross into T. This is the frequency of the AC current. And this is Josephson junctions. And then we'll go for high TC superconductors. What are high TC superconductors? High TC superconductors. In the first lecture, I have told about TC. What is this TC? Critical temperature. We have seen for many materials, the TC values are like 4.12 or in the below 5 Kelvin, or like 4, 5 and 6. What are these high TC superconductors? Like 4 Kelvin or 5 Kelvin. What is this 4 Kelvin? 4 Kelvin is nothing but 4 minus 273. That is approximately 269 degrees centigrade. Minus 269 degrees centigrade. That means at this temperature, a normal material is converting into superconducting material. This is not very easy to get this much of low temperature, no. Generally, the in our winter seasons, the temperature will be approximately like 20 to 25, and that we are considering as very cold. And mm, the ice freezes at 0 degrees centigrade, and that is the, I guess, that is the very low temperatures that we are feeling. But then what is about minus 269 degrees centigrade? It is very low temperatures, and it is very hard to attain such low temperatures, and it is very hard to use such low temperatures for applications. And what are these high superconductors? High TC superconductors are nothing but the superconductors having TC value greater than 10 Kelvin. Actually, this is also not very high temperature, but they classified this high TC superconductors means the superconductors that are having TC value greater than 10 Kelvin. In 1986, two scientists, Bednorz and Muller, they discovered a superconductor at a temperature of 35 Kelvin, and they thought it as a great achievement, really, because we till then they have found the uh, superconductors, they are behaving as superconductors at very low temperatures like 4 Kelvin, 5 Kelvin, or even less than that. But in 1986, these two scientists, they made an achievement by discovering or by introducing an element that has having the TC of about 35 Kelvin, and that component is barium lanthanum copper oxide. This was the first high TC superconductor found by Bednorz and Muller. And then again, Chu and co-workers found barium copper oxygen system, and whose transition temperature is about 90 Kelvin. And it is very much good than this. And they finally found that the presence of oxygen is very important uh, to get high TC to superconductors. And then some more examples for high TC superconductors are barium lead of 1 minus X, bismuth O3, and lanthanum and metal. Here the metals may be barium or strontium, copper, oxygen 4 minus X, and many etc. And they also found a 1 2 3 system. 1 2 3 superconductors, high TC superconductors. What does that mean? 1 2 3 superconductors means they are having one rare earth metal and two barium atoms and three copper atoms, along with some oxygen atoms like 7 or something. They found 1 2 3 high TC superconductors. They named these are 1 2 3 high TC superconductors. They are having more favorable. They are more favorable to get high temperatures, high TCs for the superconducting materials. And it is very difficult to explain the mechanism of this high TC superconductors, and the structure is also very complicated for these high TC superconductors. Like structure is very complicated, and the mechanism is also very hard, because each one will behave as is uh, every metal is unique, and it cannot be described in a one particular manner. Mechanism is different and we cannot explain, and it is very difficult to say that it has such mechanism like that. and and most of the high TC superconductors are the components. They are layered copper oxide materials. Even these high TC superconductors are a very awaited, like it is in nowadays they are, everyone is eager to see very more high TC superconductors, because there are many applications regarding this high TC superconductors. That means current persistence, and like regarding the weight of the materials, and even regarding the fastness, and there are huge applications regarding the superconductors. But the only one difficulty we are facing is the transition temperature. If the transition temperature is little bit high, we can achieve much more things using this superconductors. And the only drawback is this transition temperature. And the applications, and next we can discuss about applications. What are the applications of superconductors? Applications of superconductors. And I'm going to discuss about 5 main applications in superconducting magnets, switching devices, magnetic levitation, squids, and power transmission lines. And these superconductors are used to produce the superconducting magnets. They will produce a magnetic field of order of 10 power 5 Tesla, and these are used in laboratory and industrial purpose. And these high order magnetic fields are also used in NMR and MRI scans. And these superconductors are also used in switching devices. Switching devices means cryotrons also. What is this cryotrons? It is a basic principle of switching from normal state to superconducting state. And it is a basic principle of switching from normal state to superconducting state. It is a principle used in binary switching devices. Binary switching devices. And it is also used in magnetic levitation. What is magnetic levitation? Now I am considering two paramagnetic materials like this. One is this and another is this. And I am going to decrease the temperature of this material less than Tc. And to this material I am going to apply some magnetic field. What happens? We know that superconductors will not allow the magnetic field lines to pass through them, so that it will fly in air like this. That means it won't touch the surface of this paramagnetic material because it is magnetic, and this superconductor will not allow the field lines to pass through it, so it will fly in some air. And so that by using this phenomena we can design fast moving trains. Using this principle, Japan started moving fast moving trains. And then the next application is squids. Squids is nothing but superconducting quantum interference device. What is the application of this squids? They are used to study tiny magnetic signals. We already studied in Josephson junctions, right? We can observe the malfunctions of heart and brain and muscles like that, and that property is called as squids. And using this squids superconducting quantum interference device, that is the device and which can um, record a very teeny signals of order of 10 power minus 15 we have seen, or 10 power minus 17, etc., and from brain, heart of human body. And then we are studying from the first class that there is the resistivity of the superconductors is 0, so they are used as power transmission lines. That means there will be no there is no resistance. Since there is no resistance, these superconductors are best suited for electric power cables. Hence there will be large amount of power that can be transmitted for long distances. Actually, for long distances we will not prefer. If we prefer the normal power transmission lines, what will happen, there will be lot of power loss. So that if we use these superconductors for power transmission lines, the power loss can be neglected, and so that we can preserve that power. And these are about the applications of superconductors. If you find this video useful, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thank you.